Guojang Lai. Tease Guochin a bit. I need to go out. Something happened at home. She may relent not, but eagerly wishes for the chubby person to stay. The fat man seemed to ignore me. But the woman said, "If you dare to go home, do you believe me if I call your wife now? Can I have your wife's phone number?" The fat man, who was caught red-handed, could only sit helplessly on the sofa. He picked up the pen on the table and put it in his pocket and said to the woman, "My wife has a bad temper. If she found out about the two of us, it's not beneficial for anyone." The fat man then ignored the woman's words. Upon leaving, he immediately hailed a taxi and departed. On the car, the fat man called his wife to explain today's work process. After finishing the call, he realized that his phone was out of battery and asked the driver to help charge my phone. The driver also kindly helped him charge his phone. Just as the two people were chatting casually in the car, a motorbike raced towards the goddess. I almost hooked the driver's car. The driver angrily stepped on the gas pedal and caught up, cursing loudly. This driver has a bit of a bad temper and is not to be provoked. The chubby guy in the backseat was so scared that he dared not utter a sound. Shortly after, the sharp-eyed fat man noticed patterns on the driver's neck. This is really asking for trouble. Right after, when the fat man looked down, he saw something at his feet. It might be a wallet left behind by another customer. The fat man took advantage of the driver, still focusing on the just-repaired motorcycle. During a lifetime of grumbling and complaining, he quietly opened his wallet, found a driver's license with crumbs inside. "Oh no, this is terrible." Scared the fat guy quite a bit. The person on the driver's license and the driver in front of me received a sudden phone call. The other party urges the driver to deliver the goods today. The driver quickly responded that he will deliver to another location soon. The fat man's heart trembled at these deep words. Are the goods they speak of themselves? The chubby person wants to find an opportunity to get off the car. The translation is, but the fat man hadn't even spoken yet. The driver drove the car into a hidden small road. The drivers arrived at the agreed location, but the recipient has yet to arrive to receive it. The driver couldn't hold it any longer and got off the car to relieve himself. Have the chubby person wait in the car for him for a moment. While the driver was delivering the water, he also called the recipient. The fat man secretly hid in the bushes to eavesdrop on the driver's conversation. From the driver's conversation, the fat man found the mention of drought by the driver very refreshing. This time the goods are still moving fast. Hopefully this time I can sell for a good price. The fat man broke out in a cold sweat when he heard this. Just as he was about to step into the car, the fat man suddenly fell to the ground with a thud. The driver who had just finished the call was also alarmed. The fat guy was so scared that he couldn't even say a word. "Did you come here to leak information too?" The nervous fat person nodded hurriedly. Fortunately, the driver quickly called a cab to save the awkward situation. So the two of them returned to the car. The fat man asked the driver to give him the phone, but unexpectedly, the fat guy's phone wasn't charged at all. At this time as well, the chubby boy's eyes are no longer timid and fearful, but filled with anger and ferocity. He took a ballpoint pen out of his pocket. It went straight for the driver's neck, still saying in his mouth, "Today, it's either you die or I perish." The driver soon lost his pulse. The fat guy originally intended to escape by driving away. I didn't expect the car to break down. Not long, the buyer contacted by the driver has arrived. The fat man opened the car door and said, "This is the merchandise you wanted. Just a little unexpected. It's still quite fresh, just got it not long ago." The two buyers at this moment looked bewildered. "This shouldn't be our cargo, right?" Then let the fat guy open the trunk. When they opened the trunk and saw the dead end inside, they said, "This is the stuff we're after." What's the deal with that chubby guy just now? Only when the fat guy walked from the driver's cab did she realize. The goods that the driver was talking about turned out to be stolen goods. The fat guy is a bit confused now, and at that moment, the way the two buyers looked at the fat man was also peculiar. The buyer asked the fat man to help load the coffin into the car. Didn't expect. Another buyer tightly strangled the fat man from behind. Thankfully, the fat person has a big build. Easily broke free from several. The two also caught up. I didn't expect the fat man to be carrying a 2-meter-long stick in his hand. Before the two people could react, the chubby person took both of them down to the ground. Afterwards, he continued to stab the two of them relentlessly, until both people on the ground stopped breathing. Right after, the fat man put the bodies of 3 people into the car, burned the bodies with gasoline poured in the car. He then swaggered home.